Hey everyone, back with a bit of a different video for everyone today. This is my current main gaming PC, editing PC, photo editing PC, just everyday box. It's very dusty. I built it, around 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. And there's a few things I'm not very happy with about it that I've finally managed to sort out. So one of them being is this case. It's an NZXT case that I've had for a wee while now. It's got a bit of a dodgy power button, but the biggest thing that annoyed me was there's no optical drive bays anymore, which is very common. You know, it's very normal for a modern machine. So that was a bit annoying. So we're going to reshell essentially all the parts that are in this machine. Along the way, this video split up about a year difference between some of the parts. So what you're seeing here I filmed probably about a year ago. Currently in here is an Asus motherboard. It's a B450 Gaming F. It's based on the B450 chipset. It supports AM4 CPUs. The video card here is an EVGA 1070 Ti. I forget the sub model, but the SC model. It's been a very good card actually. I've had that for a while. I've got an Audigy RX Sound Blaster sound card. That's really nice as well. Good for the headphones. Yeah, and here's the data path capture card, which I have shown on the channel before, that takes the inputs from my old vintage PCs and puts them and captures them via OBS. Got some hard drives and things like that. A lot of these are salvaged out of old servers, NAS boxes and things like that. The two SSDs I did pick up new, except that Huawei branded one, which is actually just a Samsung that came out of a Blade server. But yeah, the video card choice I had back in the day, when I first put the machine together, because there was only the 2080s and flagship cards out at the time, there was no mid-range cards, and my whole computer basically just died. So yeah, the 1070 is all I could get at a reasonable budget. A reasonable budget of about, still $1,000. The RAM there was the Trident Z, G-Skill, sorry, the G-Skill Z RAM, Trident Z, and that's some just RGB RAM. I believe runs at 32 megahertz, 3200 megahertz, sorry. But yeah, it's been a good kit. It was pretty cost effective at the time, and the power supply that I'm about to take out is an FSP unit. I've had that for quite a while as well, actually. Fun fact, a friend of mine pretty much gave it to me. It was used in some Bitcoin mining. I bought the power supply off him and a PlayStation 3, I think for like $200 or something, NZ, so it was pretty cheap. Reason being is one of the connectors may or may not have been melted from a power draw, which you'll see. Flip the power supply around there. But yeah, it's a 1200 watt, FSP unit with Gold Plus rating. It's been quite reliable actually. I just don't use that one output, which you can see there on the right of that connector. I think what happened was it drew too many amps on that rail, and I think it just melted it. You can see here I haven't really cleaned the case much. Here's some salvage drives that I got from a server. I think one of them is a 2 terabyte, the other one's a 4. Both are like shingled sort of drives, I believe. They're very, very slow, and that's something that I'll change again later, along with the graphics card and memory. So that's sort of present day, but of course we're looking at a year ago. So here are all the parts laid out on the table. These are the ones that I'll be putting in a new shell or reshelling, which we'll get to in a moment, but we need some upgrades first. One of those being is the CPU. Currently I have a Ryzen 2600. I can't remember if it was the X, I'm pretty sure it was the X variant. But yeah, putting in a Ryzen 5700X. So it's quite cool that there's quite a wide range of CPUs you can put on the AM4 platform, of course, BIOS permitting. It always makes me laugh when they give you the same packaging as the unit that comes with the heatsink. You just get this huge big piece of empty plastic. But yeah, new CPU, and it goes pretty easy. I've already updated the BIOS on this motherboard. So I know that the CPU is going to work just fine. Something you always want to do before putting in a new CPU is make sure you update your BIOS just so you get the latest support for chips. The case here is a Be Quiet Darkbase Pro 900. It's heavy. It's quite a solid case. It's huge as well. Like, it is quite a big case. Black and orange, of course. There's something kind of cool about it. Here it is next to my other ATX case, which is a mid ATX case. So you can see the size difference. Yeah, it was quite big. Well, one of the reasons I actually picked this type of case is, well, it's a really awesome case to build in. Heaps of room for all the radiators, fans, anything you could want really. It's designed really well. It feels like it's really good quality. It's got good air ventilation. But yeah, it's got the optical drive bays at the top, which I really wanted. I had a USB disk drive on the top of the case, my old one, and yeah, it just didn't really work quite as well. It was slower. You had to keep, plugging it in and moving it around. It was a little bit confusing to figure out where some of the brackets and things went on this case, but yeah, I had to refer to the user's manual a few times, especially for the shroud around the bottom of the power supply and case, just to cover that up. It's like a garage as such. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and just put all the parts back in reverse order, plus an optical drive, and yeah, enjoy the build. I actually chose to go with this ugly ass looking optical drive because it has light scribe, and I'd like to be able to make light scribe labels. So yes, it's a generic HP SATA optical drive. Well, here it is all kind of put together. Yep, it's all looking good, all nice and shiny and clean, which it's not probably going to stay like that. And I've put it under the desk. Ignore all the cable mess and everything. This is, as I said, was filmed about a year ago, but I can tell you now that situation didn't improve later. Still just the spaghetti under the desk. Alright, so fast forward to 2024. I've got myself another 32 gig kit. So we've got 64 gigs total in the machine. This RAM's quite cheap now. DDR5 plus faster memory modules and things like that, meaning the older stuff or slower stuff that was once considered premium is a bit cheaper. So I can't remember how much I picked this up for. Looking at the receipt, it was $132, so it was pretty cheap. CL16 memory, which is quite nice, 3200 megahertz. Arctic Silver 5 CPU thermal paste going on there just to sort of freshen up the older stuff. I've also fitted an 8TB hard drive that you can see there on the right. It's temporarily just sitting in there so I can transfer all my data off my old drives. It's a lot easier to do it over SATA and faster. Video card here, this was by far the hardest pick I had to make. I wanted to go Radeon to try it out, but the rendering for Premiere Pro with video encoding, the performance wasn't really there. Well, in fact, it wasn't. You have to go with their flagship product to get close to the performance of a mid-tier NVIDIA card, so that was a little bit annoying because I wanted to try something different. And plus the 4070 non-TI supers and all of that, most of them only have 12 gigs of VRAM, which isn't great. I really wanted 16, but this is a PCIe Gen 3 board, I believe, so I'm leaving some performance on the table anyway, plus an extra 4 gigs of VRAM is going to help with some games. I'm sure it's not going to have as much VRAM as something with 16 or 20 or 24 gig would have, but yeah, still though, it's going to do the job quite nicely. It was still about $1,000, but I went with this ProArt version because it's got a triple radiator or triple fan setup, so it actually runs a little bit cooler as well. It's quite nice. Bit more heat dissipation. I've got the room in the case, so you know, it was the same exact cost for this version compared to pretty much all of the others. So yeah, I was like, why not go for this one? And plus, it doesn't look too plasticky either. I do miss my old EVGA card. It had a nice sort of layout that I really liked. But this is, yeah, it's not too bad actually. It's, you know, looks alright. I did try and dust the machine out, which you can see here, but yeah, there's still quite a lot of static dust around the little vacuum cleaner doodad that I had. God, they're terrible. Jeez, they're terrible. Barely, you know, can't pull a skin off a custard, that thing. But yeah, and with the GPU, so it's NVIDIA for NVIDIA. I've got some plans for the older parts that I'm leaving behind, which I might show in an upcoming video if I ever get around to it, which would be nice. Moving the sound card down just a little bit, just to give the GPU an extra bit of clearance, just for cooling. I had it originally up in that slot because I was worried that there'd be too much noise between the cards being picked up by the sound card, and it is after all an analog device. But yeah, GPU's in, all the cards are in, and yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Alright, back inside now. The machine is powered up with the side panels off. We've got our RAM there showing 64 gigabytes. CPU's all looking good with temperatures. It's currently at its base frequency as well. The lid on, yeah, there you go. I don't have a lot of RGB, but to your eyes it actually looks kind of nice. It's nice and simple. Testing out some games. Here is some previous testing with my old graphics card. It really struggled capturing with OBS and playing this game. So this is Beam NG. It's a fantastic game. You can see the date, December of 2022 or 2023, I think it was. But yeah, you can see it kind of struggling a little bit as it's going along. Now granted, with the new GPU, it's a lot better. There's still the occasional stutter and little bits and pieces. But yeah, other than that, it all works good as gold. I believe I had my old CPU in there too. To be honest, I didn't see a huge performance difference between the older CPU and the newer one. But here's with all the new parts, the RAM, the video card and CPU. This is not like a scientific benchmark at all, but yeah. To be honest, my old 1070 was still a really good card. I've got 1440p monitors. It played every game that I wanted. You know, I've never actually had really any issues. I don't have high refresh rate monitors. I'm not a competitive gamer. But where I really wanted the performance was in Premiere Pro. I actually really struggled with the encoding. Between the 3000 series GPUs from NVIDIA, there was quite a drastic change in the decoding portion, I believe, on the cards. So you actually got quite a huge performance gain. So I could have gone with like a 3070 or 3080, but the problem is the pricing on them. It's insane. Secondhand, it's the same cost to buy a 4070 than it is for the previous generation. And sure, you know, they might perform very close or the same, or maybe the 4070 has a bit of an edge, but oh man, just buying a second-hand GPU for the same cost as a new one, it just didn't make any sense to me. So, plus you get a warranty, you know, it hasn't been used for mining. Here we go with Counter-Strike Source. Not exactly a demanding test, but still a lot of fun. So, yeah, just thought I'd play that for a little bit.
One guy left.
Here we are with the new build for all the new parts. As I said, with Counter-Strike, it's a much older title, so yeah, you won't really see a difference, but hey, there is some of it there.
Bombs at B. Affirmative. Roger that. Roger. Affirmative. Fire in the hole. That was the last guy. We'll cover you. You defuse the bomb, sir. Bomb has been defused.
I'd say BeamNG is the most demanding game that I've got. It always seems to use 100% of the GPU no matter, you know, what's happening. But GTA 5 is probably the next most demanding one. As you can tell, I don't have a huge amount of modern titles. That's partly the reason I can get away with that 4070. And plus, it's still a really good card. I mean, it's going to play every game that's out there now, and, you know, for the next few years anyway. So I'm not going to sweat it, you know, not having the extra VRAM. A, because, you know, I can get away with it. B, I'm not a competitive gamer, as I said. Plus my old one lasted, you know, how many years? So I don't think we have to worry. I made the mistake of leaving VSync turned on when I did this initial capture. So I did this a year ago. So I only just realized that when I went to retest it, which you can see here with the new card. I had left VSync off, which when you're capturing and playing the game has some funny effects, which you'll see here in a moment. Very bad stuttering. So I'll just let this play out for a little bit, and I'll pick back up where the stuttering really starts.
Your car is
Alright, so you'll see here as we get closer to grass and sand and things like that. I don't know why this particular area has such an issue. Maybe it's just because of the distance. I'm not sure, but yeah, you'll see some pretty bad stuttering here. Now, this only occurs when I'm capturing with OBS, so not entirely sure what the story is, but yeah, you can see that here. I've respawned over to the military base, but yeah, really bad stuttering. Eventually I worked out that if I just turn VSync on, it caps the frame rate at 60 FPS, which means no more stuttering, plus everything's nice and smooth. This is such a fun game, even years later. But yeah, if we turn VSync back on so it's locked to 60 FPS, all the capturing and stuff like that is a lot smoother. I really need to dial in my OBS settings a bit more. It's kind of not capturing at the greatest quality it could do, plus bit rates, things like that, frame rates. But yeah, it's doing a really good job actually. But yeah, GTA 5. Yeah, it's just been constantly blown up by the tank. I've got God mode on or something, so you know, no matter how many times I get blown up, I don't die. But yeah, I was trying to get inside of this little building, the control tower. Good challenge, but yeah, keep getting blasted, so I can't get in there. Good fun. Well, enough gaming really, but what I wanted the card for was really my video and photography work. Not so much photography, but mainly Premiere Pro. As I said, I really struggled being able to scrub the timeline, so this is in half quality. You can see by the yellow bar there, it's not pre-rendered, and yeah, it's bloody great. It is absolutely night and day difference. Yeah, sure, better gaming, better FPS. You know, I was never really having problems with that before. It was really just Premiere Pro, so my rendering times will be reduced. In fact, I'm actually editing this video right now on the card, and I can tell you it's been an absolute joy. Just the smoothness, not having to wait, and plus that ghost effect when you pause a video and it keeps sort of playing. That's not there anymore. So yeah, I think I can get away with a good few more years on this platform. I could probably bring the GPU along with a newer one, but a newer build. But yeah, it's been great, and it was fun putting it together, even though it took maybe a year or two to get it sorted. Alright everyone, I'll leave you to your weekend and day and week, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Alright, bye for now.